To query Uniswap bridges via API, you need to start by understanding what Uniswap is and what its bridges do. Uniswap is a decentralized exchange protocol that facilitates automated transactions between cryptocurrency tokens on the Ethereum blockchain. Uniswap bridges are smart contracts that enable the transfer of assets between different blockchain networks. First, you need to get an API key from a provider such as Alchemy or Infura. This key will give you access to the Ethereum blockchain data. Once you have the API key, you can use it to query the Uniswap bridge contracts. You can do this by sending a request to the API endpoint with the contract address and the function you want to call. One of the most commonly used functions is the getReserves function, which returns the reserves of the bridge contract. This function takes no arguments and returns the reserves of the contract in the form of a tuple. You can call this function by sending a request to the API endpoint with the contract address and the function signature. To query the Uniswap bridge, you need to know the contract address and the API of the contract. The API is a JSON file that defines the functions and variables of the contract. You can find the contract address and API on the Uniswap website or on a blockchain explorer. When querying the Uniswap bridge, you should be aware of the gas prices and the network congestion. High gas prices and network congestion can slow down your queries and increase the cost to avoid this. You can use a provider that offers a high throughput and low latency API. Best practices when querying Uniswap bridges include handling errors and exceptions properly and implementing a retry mechanism in case of failures. You should also be aware of the rate limits of the API provider and implement a mechanism to avoid exceeding them. In summary, querying Uniswap bridges via API requires getting an API key from a provider, sending a request to the API endpoint with the contract address and function signature, and handling errors and exceptions properly. By following these steps and best practices, you can successfully query Uniswap bridges and get the data you need.